Hello, and welcome to Foreside Partner Spotlight. I'm Ryan Valentine. Today, I'm joined by Colin Falls, President of Geowealth. Colin, welcome. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Ryan. I appreciate you having me on today.
Yeah, we're excited to get into the Geowealth story here. And before that, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and then tell the listener a little bit more about Geowealth itself.
Absolutely. So, as we were doing kind of pre-recording to this, I think you asked, tell me a little bit about your history before, and I jokingly said, well, this was my first job. So Geowealth was my first job in the real world. Prior to being at Geowealth, I actually played basketball in college at Notre Dame, and for a few years after was traveling Europe and Italy and the Czech Republic before, coming back, realizing that I had to come back to the real world and start a more traditional life. And so in 2010, when I was coming back stateside and exploring different opportunities, Geowealth was put on my plate. And at the time, just had a handful of employees, was no doubt in the incubation stage as they were thinking about going live with an integrated technology specifically for RAs. And I think it was just a really good example of right place, right time, really cool concept, and I was able to jump in right away, roll my sleeves up, and get involved. So that was 2010. Before I kind of talk about the maturation of the business, at our core, Geowealth is a technology business focused on the RA space, and specifically we act as a turnkey asset management platform. And so we'll get into it a little bit more in further questions and slides, but ultimately we built all of our own technology in-house. We're an integrated technology platform serving financial advisors, and we also, in that same capacity, in the same integrated platform, act as investment advisors, specifically a sub-advisor or a TAMP.
Yeah, and we were chatting before, and obviously we've had a partnership with Geowealth going back, some time now at Foreside, and I believe you're up to $13 billion in assets on your platform, over 50 employees, backed by originally J.P. Morgan. I mean, pretty impressive credentials, for you guys in a relatively short amount of time. If you want to touch on that one more time, and
yeah, I think it's all about, it's really about perspective when you think about the growth of the business, right? When we launched in 2010, we went live actually by acquiring a smaller RA. It was a couple $100 million RA at the time. And from 2010 until 16, our sole focus was working with that firm as they were growing. We were lucky that they were growing from $200 million to $2 billion when we divested them a few years ago. That we were working with truly a beta firm, but working with live accounts, a growing firm, real-world advisors with diverse use cases, and so it really allowed us to take a fresh perspective and approach to what we wanted to build. And we did have patient capital. We were still are backed by a family office. And from 2010 to 16, we built the vast majority of the platform. As we approached really version 2 of the platform, which was released in late 2015, early 2016, we realized it was time to go from one captive firm to a broader audience. And, we developed partnerships, ultimately did take a growth equity investment from J.P. Morgan at the end of 2018 with really the sole purpose of investing in distribution and marketing to make sure that our product and our platform got out to a broader base. And so, as we look at it, we've certainly had great growth in the last few years, but we've been building for a long time. And, in the last few years, as we have brought on that sales and marketing function, we've gone from, really one client and a couple billion to, 50 plus firms and over $13 billion now. But I think the beauty of it is it's still so early. It's so early in, the transformation of the wealth management space and the digital age and the move to the independent wealth space. And we feel like we're in a really great place, for the next 10 years of our journey. Still feel like we're just really in the early innings of what Geowealth can be and the broad audience that we could serve.
Yeah, I mean, excellent points. We speak about your backers. They obviously saw something in you guys, but it's no secret it's a busy, saturated space. picture the traditional advisor, they face a pretty seemingly daunting task navigating the service provider landscape. It can be quite daunting, and there's lots of providers out there, where the breakaway advisor can turn to, or the RAA, et cetera. Just, tell us, where do you guys fit into this landscape of all these providers?
It's a great question, and it's interesting because in a lot of ways over the last 10 years, there's been so much disruption and change. In other ways, there's been a normalization, and a lot of the same key players are still the key players. And I view that as an opportunity. On this slide, we have in front of us, we really categorize the wealth stack or technology for financial advisors, specifically independent financial advisors, in two categories. On the right side, you have your traditional TAMPs, firms that are very well known, like InvestMed, AssetMark, SEI, public firms that have been in this space for, decades, were really the first early disruptors with technology. And I think what's interesting is they've really focused on the independent broker-dealer space and have massive penetration, hundreds of billions of dollars in the independent broker-dealer space. And what happened is firms moved from the IBDs or the wirehouses to RIAs. You had SaaS platforms pop up. And it started, longer ago than 10 years ago. But when I was first getting involved 10 years ago, names like Tamarack and Black Diamond and Morningstar and Vestmark and more recently Orion, I think really disrupted the independent wealth space with SaaS platforms and platforms with more modern platforms that gave independent advisors, RIAs, the keys to run their own business. And I think that great solutions, but there's a void. We believe specifically in the RIA space that you have firms that don't want to do it all themselves. And so our vision was to build an integrated platform where you get the best of both worlds. You have modern software as a service capabilities in terms of advisor and client portals, new user interface, new capabilities and tools that you have in your more traditional advisor technology, but you still, you're bringing to the RA market a lot of the efficiencies and scalability created by your traditional TAMPs. And so that's our positioning, as the next generation TAMP, the advisor's TAMP for registered investment advisors. And, we think that there's tailwinds behind why this concept makes sense. And advisors don't want just great technology. They want a great partner to go along with it.
Yeah, I mean, we see it all the time too, because we essentially share the same end user clients, from different perspective, obviously different service offerings. But the one-stop platform is like a phrase that just resonates daily. I mean, we probably talk to hundreds of clients a day, and they just want something streamlined. We all have a million tabs open on their desk. We, million different logins and passwords. To the extent that you guys have largely solved for that, I know is a very comforting factor for RIAs, breakaway brokers, et cetera. Just quickly take it one step further without getting too in the weeds, but we'd love to hear about some of your unique features and capabilities that would differentiate you from that landscape of competitors we just spoke about on the previous slide.
Yeah, and I think, just commenting on that, I think our goal is to keep things simple, intuitive, without losing sophistication. And if you think about the last really 5 or 7 years, so many new tools have been thrown at advisors, whether it's risk profiling capabilities, direct indexing, new financial planning, portfolio analysis tools. And I think that, the nature of an RA is inquisitive and exploratory, and they want to understand what's out there. And I think what's actually ended up happening, I think there is some fatigue around that. You have firms that have gone and used 4 or 5, dabbled in 4 or 5, 6 different technologies and realized that, there may be a cool feature or two, but they're losing efficiencies and scale. And so, we try and keep it simple. And so, at our core, we've built a comprehensive portfolio management system. It's all built by us. It's all the same platform. It's the same database. It's the same login. There's no single sign-on. It's one tab you're in all day. And we've built it all around our core portfolio accounting system. And so that's at the crux of everything we do. We have portfolio accounting. We have sub-accounting, which allows for UMA implementation, Unified Managed Account implementation, so you can have multiple portfolios or SMAs in the same account. We have all our own proprietary performance reporting and billing capabilities. We have aggregation capabilities using third-party softwares, which allows for a comprehensive approach to the advisor experience, but also the client experience on anything in terms of viewing accounts, balance sheet, performance reporting, et cetera, as well as your portfolios. And then we also have all the tools of your traditional TAMP, where we have client profiling and proposal generation, portfolio construction, model marketplace, and then we also have our own order management system and rebalancer so that we could execute all the trades on the firm's behalf. And so the end result is one integrated ecosystem, one vendor, one platform, one service team, and I think that there's enormous efficiencies created from this model.
Yeah, I mean, I could practically hear advisors or clients, et cetera, that we're talking to on a regular basis that are visiting Foreside or visiting you guys. I can almost sense a sigh of relief right now, just kind of hearing that overview. I know that works for me as well. And then we spoke about our synergies and the type of clients we both share. As you know, and the listeners know, we work a lot with the breakaway brokers. And we also work with breakaways from wirehouses. We work with the RIAs. We work with the bigger IBDs, et cetera. So we kind of run the gamut, and I imagine you guys do too. But if you had your druthers, maybe you could say who's the ideal candidate for your platform.
Yeah, another great question. I think that the challenge here is not to overly generalize, but I'm going to do so just because I think it helps in identifying themes, and whether it's speaking today to intermediaries that are thinking about platforms to use, or the end RIAs that are looking for platforms. We kind of try to draw themes of who's the right fit for us, and no RIA is the same, but I think that there's definitely similarities across them, and so we really divide the world into kind of two unique target markets for us. We have independent firms and enterprise firms. On the right side, enterprise firms would be typically small to mid-sized corporate platforms. If you think firms with lots of accounts, lots of advisors, needing compliance tools and efficiencies and scalability and process control, we're a great platform for a national corporate platform or regional corporate platform that's looking for one centralized platform to run the business. But I think for today's conversation, even more in focus is that independent firm. It could come in all shapes and sizes, but if we had to pick, I would say firms in that $50 million to $1 billion size, and they're using our platform for a very specific case, to acquire new clients and to service their current client base with modern technology. And that could be an existing RA that's using a TAMP or not using a TAMP, that's insourcing and using a SaaS platform that's looking for more support there, or it could be, I think, most directly in Foreside's case, breakaway advisors that you're working with every day. And that could be from your national broker-dealers or your wirehouses. And I think that the real takeaway here is that those advisors are used to, at their broker-dealer or wirehouse, they're used to one single sign-on integrated platform that they operate in all day. And when they go and look to go independent to the RA space, it's a daunting task. They're looking, they're custodians and compliance, and now you got to throw technology, and now it's maybe multiple technologies. How do we pull all this together? I think what we've built allows for a very seamless transition to an experience that they're used to that's in the independent space. And it's still one platform, it's still one set of models that they have access to, one service team. And I think it's a really perfect solution for an advisor that's in transition, that's looking to get out. I think for our challenge, and I'm glad we're on this, and hopefully this gets out, is that we want that advisor to be aware of us, as they're making that decision, because once they make that decision, they're probably already, have all of their technology stack in place. And so that really is a great fit for us as an advisor that's looking to leave their current captive environment and go into the independent space and looking for great technology, but equally a great partner.
Yeah, I mean, kind of leads me right into my next question, and actually the next slide as well. But we talked about changing platforms and changing technology. It's a scary transition, can be a scary proposition for an advisor. And you started to touch on it, but maybe if you could just shed a little light on how you ensure a smooth transition to independence.
Yeah, there's not one simple answer to this, other than we're committed to being a great partner in the process. No transition's the same. They're all different. They're all nuanced, whether it's account size or, region or the model marketplace they're looking for, the custodian connections or their aggregation. There's always complexities with it, billing frequency. But because we control the technology, we're able to customize. And, the most important part in the transition is the exploratory phase up front, so we know what we're dealing with and setting proper expectations. And then it's all about execution. And we go all in on execution. There's a dedicated service team for all transitions. And we've seen dozens and dozens and dozens of transitions at this point that we have a really good feel for all the variables that could come in play. And we're committed and we're aligned in getting you up and running, because that's when we both get in business. And so, there's no perfect answer to this other than that we're a very, very committed team making sure there's a smooth transition.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that certainly speaks for itself, speaks in volumes there. So that's a tremendous answer. So you guys, we talked about, maybe the next slide too will help for the viewers too, but obviously you guys have some solid backing, incredibly talented staff. We know you're not alone in the space, as we discussed earlier in the conversation. But there's got to be several factors that make you guys unique and make you kind of stand out above that competition. If you just want to give us a couple bullet points, high level overview on that, that'd be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not going to read off of this. I mean, I think that there's themes, right? There's no doubt it's modern. It's modern software with a slick user interface, thoughtful workflows. We built this specifically for RAs. We've been working with RAs for 10 years. We understand the unique needs of RAs, and I think that that's probably the least understood or addressed by TAMPs. And so modern software that's flexible, built around RAs. And one thing I will touch on here is the cost structure. Not typically, in some cases, TAMPs have their own technology. In other cases, they don't. In circumstances where they don't own their technology, they're licensing from another software platform, which means they need to mark it up. And cost is a real prohibitor from TAMPs having penetration in the RA space that we think we've solved for. Because we built the entire platform, we're able to understand the unique business models of the RA and understand economics that work. The 50 basis point TAMP model that exists out there will not work in the RA space. And we have a very flexible pricing structure that understands when you're using SaaS platforms, when you're building your own models, when you're building third-party models, to make sure it's customized and it meets your economics of your business plan as well. And so, if I had to summarize, it's integrated technology that's purposely built for RAs, that understands the need for modern software and the need for a pricing model that supports the traditional RAs.
Yeah, I mean, speaking right to the bottom line for any business owner, or breakaway, or whatever situation they're involved in, when you can get right to the bottom line, there's something decent going on there.
It's all fluff until you get to the economics, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, fantastic. And maybe just put up the next slide too, if you're able to, for the viewers. But it's for these reasons that Foreside partners with Best of Breed. Obviously, we recognize the Best of Breed as it comes to your guys' little neck of the woods here, a very important neck of the woods. In the service provider wheel, you have Foreside that would be helping with RAA registration, accounting and billing. We can manage the marketing material. We provide ongoing compliance. We recently rolled out a cybersecurity partnership with another service provider, and then the all-important asset management and trading platform that you guys offer at Geowealth is, hopefully makes it as seamless and one-stop shopping as possible. So we're proud to be partnering with you guys here on that very important sliver to the pie, and just noting that we do recognize that it is a daunting task, and these partnerships that we're involved in, for instance with you guys, we really do try to take all the a lot of the stress out of the equation to really help with that that transition. So if you have any points on that, Colin, happy to hear them for our listeners here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the takeaway is what you've built at Foreside. It feels to me like the most comprehensive transition service in the industry, right? And when you thoughtfully put all these pieces together, one, we're honored to be part of it, and look forward to being a cog in the wheel as you provide all of these services to firms in transition. I think you guys have built something really special here, and we're excited to continue on the journey with you guys.
Yeah, no, awesome. So Colin, where do people go to find you guys?
Yeah, Geowealth.com is the best, right? There's you can see on screen. Geowealth.com probably is the best. You could request a demo, contact us. There's a phone number. Happy to ask for me if you'd like. I do encourage anyone listening that is interested to not read the text and give us a call. Getting on a 20 or 30-minute platform demo really brings a lot of these concepts to life. I think that these terms are used over and over and over again, and sometimes misunderstood. And I think just a quick 20 or 30-minute demo, we could really demonstrate the simple, intuitive nature of our platform. And looking forward to connecting with any.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, without a doubt, the live demo platform is certainly worth everyone's time. So yeah, sorry, didn't want to run you over there, but just thought that just seeing your guys' product in action. Similarly, we do live demos for our products as well, and it just really, it's like when you were a student. It's like you can hear something a million times, but until you see it, it puts it in a whole different light. So. With that, Colin, I think we'll pretty much wrap it up. And on behalf of Foreside and our Spotlight team, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us, and really appreciate it, and look forward to your continued success and our partnership.
Thanks, Ryan. Again, really appreciate being on, and looking forward to working together more in the future.
Perfect. All right. Until the next time. Take care.
Thanks, Ryan.